We have a superstar in the house and a very warm welcome to Vusi Nova. Welcome to What's Your Poison?
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
So you're in, just tell me the context. You're in your aunt's house for a birthday
Yeah,
party?
I'm in my aunt's study. It's my aunt's birthday today, so we're sort of celebrating that as a family, and I'm having a drink.
What have you got in there? I'll show
This
you
is
what I
gin.
got.
So this is gin. Okay, this is Hendrick's gin with a bit
Hendrix
of
gin.
cranberry and water.
And is that a party special or is that something you drink regularly?
Regularly, like I love it to bits. I have
Or is it?
this. I have this at least a couple of times, at least 2-3 times a week. So yeah.
I thought you were going to say a day.
Okay, maybe I meant to say a day.
What is? Has it got a name? What did you call it? It's just a gin and cranberry. You got to give it a name. It's got like maybe it's the Nova.
Oh, I thought you were saying the Gangster Nova.
Oh, I'll take if you want it, you can have it.
What are you having?
I'm actually drinking a whiskey, which I just, like an idiot, I broke the cork off right in there now.
Oh,
So
really?
this was what I'm sending you. It's a bottle of Glendronach. Do you drink whiskey or must I send you something else?
I mean, I don't mind whiskey now and again, but I love my gin. But now and again, I'd have a whiskey. I'd have a glass of champagne, but gin is my thing.
Well, lovely to meet you. Thank you for being on What's Your Poison? And so as the title suggests, why your gin and why your Nova is important to the conversation is because we like to start to figure out what are the naughty things that we like to do. And I see, I know you went on a nice holiday. What were your luxuries on your holiday?
Well, it wasn't a holiday, it was business, and of course a bit of pleasure, but it was more, we went down there for business. Yeah. Anything specific you want to know about it?
Well, I was going to actually ask you not about it specifically, but you are one of those people, I don't know whether to be sorry for or it's something you enjoy, but you breathe and Twitter jumps down your throat. You're in that amazing superstar echelon where everything you do gets like reported and distorted and all of the stuff. How do you actually deal with that on a daily basis? It must be hard.
It's tiring, like it's just tiring. But I guess it comes with the territory, you know. We have to roll with the punches, man. Hey, I've been called all sorts of names. It's just what it is, I get frustrated now and again, then I get over it, and then I'm frustrated again, and then I'm over it. It's just a vicious cycle, But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Are you someone who gets stressed very easily?
Yeah, I get definitely stressed easily. I get frustrated easily. I borderline have a sort of like an anger management problem, But just like everything else, man, you just have to sort of try to deal with it and get over it and move on with life,
Does that make you a perfectionist in the studio? Are you hard to work with?
I am okay. I'm not hard to work with, but I'm definitely a perfectionist.
That's right.
I'm very opinionated. My ideas count, So definitely when I'm in studio, I want to be heard. I want my ideas to come across. I'm more than happy to listen to someone else, but in a nutshell, I know what I want when it comes to especially my music.
I want to talk a bit more about the music, but I actually just wanted to tell you now. I was interviewing Steve Kekana the other day.
Oh wow!
I don't know if you've ever met him.
I met him once backstage. I think it was in Bloemfontein. Once, yeah.
That guy is amazing, right? And I was asking him about his favorite music, and he said the number one guy is Vusi Nova. He said that voice is perfection. If you want to
Yeah.
see what music is, it's Vusi Nova, and I thought that was
You
amazing, and I
joking,
wanted to.
right?
Pardon?
You joking, right?
I'm deadly serious. I wanted to tell you that. Um, that was the
Wow.
conversation I had with him.
Wow. Wow. That what an honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. And talking about honors, I mean, you also worked with Ringo on Ngumama. I mean, how cool
Yes.
is that?
You know what? Ringo is one of my inspirations.
What a dude!
Um,
What a dude!
my idol. You know, just my everything. He's part of the reason I sing
Mm.
today. You know, um, and you know, throughout my career, he sort of guided me. You know, whenever I'd get sort of stuck on something, I'd call him and say, I've got this problem. How do I handle it? And he's always been open to just giving me advice, you know, which is a rare thing to find when it comes to this industry. You know, people are very, very fake. And I've been asking him, it's been years, I've been asking him if we can do a track together. And I guess it just wasn't the right time, you know.
Mm.
And I guess it goes back to the saying of everything has its time, because when the time was right, the song happened.
I've only learned that as well. I'm like you. I'm very impatient. I want my way. It's taken me many years to learn that actually, you don't need to push stuff. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. What kind of, can you tell me, first of all, I'm interested, how did you meet Ringo? But then what kind of problems would you take to him, and how would he help you through them?
So I met him through my cousin, who was his stylist,
Cool.
a couple of years ago. Um, I wasn't even famous then. And she went to him and said to him, "Hey, I've got this cousin. He wants to sing. Here's his demo. Just have a listen." You know, so that's how I met him. And then, funny enough, my first record deal was with EMI, and he was signed with EMI.
When was your record deal? In 2014, 13?
My first record no, my first record deal was in 2009.
2009. So this was, EMI was what, the Kevin Grenfell, Lance McCormack days? No, no, not Lance. Who was there at the time?
In terms of artists,
No, who was running EMI at that
oh,
time?
it was Irvin.
Irving. Oh, okay, Irving. Yeah, yeah,
Irvin,
yeah.
yes, yes. He was running EMI at the time before it sort of merged with Universal.
I think I was signed. My band Cassette was signed in 2009 to EMI as well. At that same
Oh,
time,
really?
actually.
In
So we
in
were there
in
at the same time.
in Santon,
Yeah, they had the
Morningside.
jukebox doorway.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
that's it. So
Cool.
so for example, you know, for the longest time, I had this problem where just before getting on stage, my anxiety is just on 1,000. You know, to the point where it was sort of just uncontrollable. I couldn't control it at all. So the one day I approached him and I said to him, I call him Grootman.
Grootman.
I call him Grootman. So I said to Grootman, you know, I've got this problem. When before I get on stage, my nerves are just right up there. How do I handle this? And I think he gave me one of the best advice I've ever gotten from anyone. And he said to me, the minute you stop feeling that way before getting on stage, then you should worry.
Right. Great
And
advice.
right, and I thought about it, and it made so much sense, to the point where if I got to a gig and I wasn't nervous, then I'd start worrying. I'm like, okay, why am I not nervous? You know, why is this a walk in the park? You know? So yeah, he's been
I suppose
amazing.
because what is it? Your nerves are about caring about what you're going to do.
Of course, I think I think it's the passion that I have for music, And the fact that I'm such a perfectionist, I want everything to go my way, and the right way. So I think it stems from that, yeah.
I mean, your voice is unbelievable. I mean, I know you know that. I'm not saying that as a compliment. It's exceptional.
Oh,
To be fair, and I know because I was also in a band.
right.
You're a bit of a late bloomer in the industry. Where was your pre-music life? What were you doing?
I
I know you're
think
from. Yeah.
so. So there's a thing about this industry where people that are in already don't try to help anyone else. It's like
That is the
they want to
truth.
keep the people that are out, you know. And I think that's so sad because there's really space for everyone.
Mm.
And I feel like we're all different we're different in our different ways, you know. And the cake is big enough for everyone, you know. Um, so for me, it took me this long because there was actually no one along the way to say, let me hold your hand,
Mm.
let's go this direction, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I come from a musical background. My grandmother was in the church choir. My early memories of music really is being amongst the choir in church on my grandmother's lap,
In PE.
in Port Elizabeth, yes.
I'm
And I
from
always
PE
say,
as well,
are you from PE?
but I also escaped.
Also being the operative word. Um, so yeah, and I always say just the Eastern Cape as a whole is like the reggae sort of reggae and jazz hub. So I grew up and there was music
Mm.
all around. Um, I remember just across the road from my house, there was a saxophone player. The guy next door was a radio presenter. There was just music everywhere.
Cool.
And then I moved to Joburg when I was 14 years old. Um, and my mom was crazy. She was madly in love with Motown. I'm not sure if you remember Motown,
Oh, I live for Motown.
you know? And
I'm Motown through to the core right here.
man, so and I think back then I really hated it because she played it so much.
Right.
Um, but then I realized at some point that this is actually what shaped
Hmm.
the kind of artist that I am today. You know, um, I mean, I've been through it all. I was at some point I was with the Kalawa guys. I was doing house music. Um, I didn't really want to do that, but because that is what Kalawa specializes in, so I
Hmm.
sort of threw myself in that, and I said, okay, let me try this out. But it's only when I met Lawrence. This was in 2013, early 2014. Um,
What a don.
and I,
You
and I
met the king.
recorded. Pardon?
You met the king.
The King, Lance Star.
Yeah, you met him. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that's when I recorded "I'd Rather Go Blind."
Yes.
Um, that's basically the first song that sort of
Did
put
you
me
not know
out
you
there.
were a singer before that when you were doing the DJ stuff? Were you were not sure or
I mean, I've always wanted to sing. It was definitely a thing that I wanted to do. But did you just say the DJ thing?
yeah.
No, no. So at Kalawa, I was singing. So, but I was
Oh, I
singing on the
thought you
house
said you were.
tracks.
I see. Sorry, sorry. I thought you said you were trying the DJ thing at Kalawa. That's
No,
why
no,
you
no, no.
signed.
I was
No,
I
no,
was
no.
singing on the house tracks.
Okay, well that makes more sense to me now.
Yeah. um, but I mean, it just wasn't really my vibe. I mean, I can sing on anything,
Yeah.
But what I really wanted to do was to sort of get into the soul space, you know. And so I met Lawrence. I recorded I'd Rather Go Blind, and the rest of that album. And yeah, that's sort of how I got out there.
I'm building up to your album. I want to, and because there's quite a lot of significance there, I want to stay back in PE to your family. What was your family environment? What were the specific tracks that you were listening to that maybe you hated, but then later on you discovered? Because I know my dad thought that he was
Yeah.
a Texas country. He thought he was like a cowboy. I don't know why he
Okay.
ever thought that he wasn't one. And he grew up listening to country music, and I hated country music growing up. Now, when I listen to Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash, I go like, that is some fucking genius
Beautiful.
right there. But I
Right?
didn't know it as a kid because the parents loved it. I couldn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Even Sinatra, I didn't value as a kid, and
Back
now
then, right?
recognize the quality of that vocal is unparalleled. You know.
True. I mean, so first of all, for me, so I was raised by my grandmother
Mm.
in Port Elizabeth. Okay. So back in PE, it was always
Church music.
gospel was
Yeah.
huge. Reggae, jazz, pop.
Yeah.
You're from your Brenda Fassies,
Brenda.
Hugh Masekela, Lucky Dube, when I got to Joburg is when I was introduced to Motown.
I see.
Motown, geez, Jackson 5, let me see, Diana Ross and the Supremes,
I can Tina Turner.
Tina Turner, Etta James. I mean,
Cool.
the list is endless, and I think at some point I just fell in love with the sound, that raw analog sound, because you must remember back then everything was still analog, everything was live, and which is what I try to incorporate in my music now.
Where was your mother in those early days?
Okay, so my mom had me when she was 18. So my grandmother just sort of told her that, listen, you don't have a kid. You're gonna go to school, you're gonna finish your studies, you don't have a kid. This is my kid. So my mother went off, finished her studies, and then eventually got a job in Joburg. Found a place, got a car, got into a comfortable sort of space. And then she called my grandmother and said, "You've done an amazing job with this child.
Wow.
Thank you so much. I think it's now time that I take over."
How old are you?
I'm 14 at the time.
Oh, so she's in okay, now I'm making all the connections now. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I came to Joburg, a township boy, coming to the burbs.
Where were you living in Joburg?
In Joburg, at Craig Hall.
Craig Hall, yeah.
And for me, I mean, that was new. I mean, I'm just a township kid, So for me to come to, and stay in the suburb, for me, that was huge. And all of a sudden, I got my own room, it was just all new to me, things like, wow, we've got a car, that was all new to me. I mean, I come from a family of 15. Excuse me. A family
15?
of 15. There was 15 people in our house in Port Elizabeth, and it was a 1-bedroom. So
Wow.
what we'd do, we'd literally sleep very late, okay? And the reason for that was because we had to make sure that there's no visitors coming to visit, because we'd then have to move all the couches, like take the one couch, put it on top of the other one to make space for everyone to actually sleep. And then we'd wake up very early to make sure that everything is back, to its place, to where it belongs, so that when people arrive, everything is it's crazy, man.
That's a far
Um,
cry from the private jet I saw you on Instagram in the other day.
right? Yeah. But that's I mean, that's what humble beginnings
Yeah.
is. You know, and I think my drive as well comes from that. Um, I mean, I
You
remember
know
my
what
grandmother.
it tastes like.
Exactly. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
my grandmother waking up every morning to boil water, you know,
Mm.
for me to wash and go to school. You know, sheesh. I mean, I remember her having to take like a beach towel to put over our curtains because there was this light that would shine right into the bedroom where I would sleep. And she would put this dark sort of towel to make sure that this light, just to dim the light, that's coming in so that I can sleep. So those are just some of the memories that I just have that have sort of pushed me to push myself and and be a better person, and sort of change things for my family.
What did your gran teach you? And what did your mum teach you?
Wow, my grand taught me most of. So I think my grandmother was mostly disciplined.
Was she super
So
strict with you?
super, super, super. Like the only time my mom smacked me was because she saw me smoking a cigarette on the road, and I think she was with her friends in the car, and obviously her friends were like, "What? Your son smokes?" And the car stopped. She got out. That was the only time she ever touched me. But my grandmother, on the other hand,
Also, she was embarrassed in front of her friends. It was
I
more.
think
It was
so.
more of a show.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But my grandmother, on the other hand, man, I got beatings there. you know. So it's just things like washing the dishes. Every single day when you come back from work, you take off your uniform, you wash your shirt, your socks, your
Mm.
underwear. Just it's just those little things that actually help you later on in life. You know.
She actually probably that perfectionist in you probably started
Exactly.
there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Do things
Because
properly.
and then when it comes to my mom, I think my mom was just a bit extra with everything. She just showered me with everything.
Did you feel guilt? Did you think she felt guilty?
Definitely. I think she was trying to make up for all the lost time. And I think she felt guilty that she wasn't there when I was growing up. I mean, she would come in and visit now and again because you must remember, she was studying and working at the same time.
Mm.
So whenever she had sort of money to come and visit, she'd come and visit. You know, so I think she definitely felt guilty, and yeah, she just spoiled me rotten.
Cool.
And that's when I sort of got into drugs and man.
So how old? So when did? How old? Okay, I've got two questions, and maybe they're related. How old were you when you started doing drugs? What and where did that take you?
Um, I was probably about 15. It started with a joint here and there, and then it was a joint. Hey,
Sorry, 1 second. Yes, puppy.
hey, kiddo.
Roblox with
You
you.
can. I'm nearly done. I'll come to you when I'm done. Will you just close the door, please, my angel? Will you just close the door on the way out, love? Close the door, you nana. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
That's why I usually do these at 9 when he's down.
When it's out.
Yeah. Sorry.
um,
Continue.
yeah, so it sort of started with a joint here and there, and then it was like 20 joints a day, you know,
Did
and
you go
then
beyond joints?
definitely, and then
Ah.
went to Mandrax,
Whoa.
went to crack cocaine,
Woo.
ecstasy.
Oh, you weren't messing about. You went all the way.
Yeah, I went all the way in. And, I really got addicted to crack cocaine. Um, man, yeah. And this went on for years, you know.
How did your
It went on
mum
for years.
handle that?
You know, and this is the thing about my mom. I don't know whether she noticed
She
or she
definitely
just
noticed. She definitely noticed.
or she just turned a blind eye to it.
Mm.
I just or she just didn't know how to deal with it. Um, or
So
maybe
you
she
went from a
or
very strict grandmother to having no boundaries,
exactly,
nobody. Yeah, because
exactly.
so were you very close to her? She was more like a friend than a
So my mom was like my sister. She was like my friend.
right.
We spoke about everything.
Mm.
Um, for me, I feel like my life when I moved to Joburg was just amazing, you know,
Right.
because now, gone was so my, yeah, because my grandmother was so strict. Now all of a sudden things are a bit loosened and, easier. Um, hey man, yeah, the drug thing started and it just didn't stop. It just didn't stop. It just got worse and worse and worse and worse. Um,
When did you realize that you had a problem? Was it
geez,
yesterday?
I think, I think, so my mom passed
So
on.
were you still doing drugs when your mum passed away?
Yes, yes,
Okay, that's very hectic. All right.
and I just turned 21. Literally 2 months after I turned 21,
Mm.
um, and I went. Then it got really worse. Like I went right over the edge. Um,
Sure.
and I think what made everything worse was that now I wasn't asking for money anymore. The money was now mine because she left me like a shitload of cash. I'm sorry for my language. Um, and I think that was my way of grieving. I just I just was spending money and
I mean, a drug addict plus inheritance is a bad combo.
I just things went south from there. Um, wow,
So
and
then,
and
how
I
do you,
think I think I only started talking about this just now, like a couple of years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, um, about my drug use, my drug problem, and how my mom passed on. My mom was HIV positive, and for the longest time, I was telling people that she had cancer. Because I was just afraid of how people would label her. You know,
mm.
and for me, like, once again, that just made my drug use just get to another level. Like it just didn't stop.
Where's the father in this story?
Okay, so my dad passed away when I was 2 years old.
I see.
Um, yeah, that was another tragic thing as well on the side. So he was shot. He was a doctor, and he was shot in his surgery, and they burnt the surgery down with him inside. And I was two.
What
I was two at the time.
gangsters or or an accident or
I think it was. I think it was politics related.
wow, that's very very.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a light-hearted conversation, by the way.
Hey, man. you ask all the questions.
Okay, so let's talk about the. I mean, this is all building up to your album, so it's not just
Right.
random stuff that I'm going here. Tell me about when you started to come back from that place, from the dark place.
So So I think for the longest time, I just got into a space where I just always wanted to be alone because I felt like whenever I was out, I felt like people could see that I was high. So basically, I was paranoid, you know.
Mm.
And I said to myself, how the hell am I gonna become the superstar if I'm even afraid to face people?
Mm.
You know, and I knew that it was the drugs that were doing that to me. You know, um, so I woke up one morning and I said, "That's it." And obviously, I would relapse now and again, but I was clear that
Mm.
I didn't want to do this anymore. It didn't fit in with with the path that I wanted to take. Um, and hey, I'm here today.
I mean,
You know.
amazing. It's incredible. I mean, your career is unbelievable.
Thank you so much. And that's why now, you know, when I see people doing drugs, I'm just like kick this thing. Like it's not gonna take you anywhere. It's just not gonna take you anywhere.
It's in the way.
Kick it. Exactly. It's just gonna stop you from getting to where you need to get. You know. And I'm constantly telling people this. You know, I mean, I come across there's certain artists that I know that are doing drugs, and I'm just trying to encourage them to stop that because I know the end result.
And you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. You are clean as a whistle when it
Totally,
comes to drugs. Yeah.
totally. I'm on this.
Yeah. No, me too. Cheers to that. Mm.
No, totally clean. Totally.
Let me. I'm asking you this question because I have an agenda. My dad passed away.
Oh, really?
At the moment, you know, you don't. We've just met. I was in a band, and my band, you know, we toured the world for 5 years, but he passed away right before my first album even dropped. So he never
Wow.
saw any of that
Wow.
stuff.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I remember feeling, and even to this day, the pain. They never got
Right.
to see any of that. And my
Trust me, I
question for you
understand.
is: do you think about what your mother has missed out on? Because
Or
and I'm not making fun. I wasn't bringing up your private jet thing in a comedic way. That's what was
right.
on my mind. Like, if your mother could see you now.
I think of that all the time, you know, and especially because you're so supportive. You know, I think most parents, when you tell your parents that you want to sing, you know,
They
they're
usually
like,
like, doctor,
they're like, what?
doctor.
You're gonna
You're gonna
go
be
to
a doctor.
school? Yeah, if you're gonna go to school, you're gonna finish your studies, and you're gonna
Yeah,
be a scientist.
yeah.
You know.
Hmm.
But my mom was like, okay, this is what you're gonna do. Cool. How can I help? What do you need? You know, she got me my first piano, well, keyboard, my first guitar. You know, my first flute. She was very supportive. So I constantly think of that,
Hmm.
and I think that's why this particular album is a tribute to her. That's why this album is inspired by her. I call it Ngumama
Mama.
because I feel like I want I want I want people to know the kind of person she was through the things that I do and through my music, if that makes sense. You know? So everything she taught me, from being compassionate, from being loving, from being respectful, all of those things, is what makes up the album that I have today. And I can only hope that people sort of see the kind of person that she was through my music.
What would you ask her or tell her if she was here to see this?
Um, wow. I would tell her
I mean,
thank you. you know. Just thank you for all the support. Thank you for the person that I am.
She
I'm
made a
not perfect,
megastar.
man. I'm not perfect, but I work damn hard, man. I work very hard. I give it my all at every turn, you know. And this I get from her. She was a fighter. She was the first person in our family to make a difference and succeed. So I think I got that fire, from her. Um, man. My mom was that's I keep on saying to people, I'm a mommy's boy. So
Mm. Cheers to mummy's boys, bro.
hey,
Really, they're the best.
and cheers to her.
Cheers to her. Really. So
And cheers to your dad, man.
yeah, I mean, I never. Well, this is a confession I'll make for you now. I have a really big regret, right? And
Okay.
that is right before the first ever gig we ever had. My dad had a heart attack, but he
Man.
was fine. And he's phoned me and he said, "Don't come back and check on me. I'm fine. Go do the gig." And
Wow.
I was like, and I was still, I was like, yeah. I thought, okay, cool. I did the gig. He was actually okay. It was another heart attack that killed him.
Okay.
But I always regret that I chose to do that gig over going to check on him, and I've never been able to let that go. You know?
So I've got a but yeah, I can totally relate to that. When my mom was sick, for example, and she was in the hospital.
Was she in hospital a lot? She must have been if she was ill like that.
You know, it was all so sudden and just quick. She was probably in hospital for about not even 2 months. But not like in and out. It was just like in and out. But during that period, and I think I always blame myself for this, and I beat myself for this. While she was in hospital, so obviously, I had all her cards, I had the car, and I
You
feel
had
like
a drug
somehow,
habit.
yeah. So I feel like I was just partying up a storm whilst my mom was in hospital. So I think I've never been able to let go of
Oh,
that.
that's
You know.
heavy. That is heavy.
Um, but hey, man, we move on. We try to roll with the punches. And I think once again, music for me is an outlet. I use music to relieve whatever it is that I'm feeling at the time.
Mm.
Um, it's a sense of healing for me, and I can only hope that it does the same thing for other people out there.
Tell me a little bit of. Okay, we're there now. This album is. I mean, first of all, it's obvious that that's what you do because when you sing, it's like the angels are singing.
Oh,
But
thank you.
the album, how have you managed to? I mean, express this deep emotion. How have you told the story on Ngumama? I mean, something like Ibanati. That is such a. I mean, I'm glad it made it on the album, even though it was only at the end. The
Right.
killer. The stuff on this album has so much soul. How have you told this story, and what is your approach to writing these songs and being able to express this in an album the way that you have?
For me, I think it's all the different emotions that make me who I am. You know, um, I'm a sucker for love. You know, um,
That's good. At least at least that gives you authenticity when you sing it.
and that's the thing, right? There's so many people out there with amazing voices,
And they go like,
but
everyone likes love, so I must sing about that. But do you
exactly.
actually believe in it?
I actually believe in it. I
Yeah.
actually believe in it. You know. So I'm constantly singing about love, and once again, this is something that my mom taught me. You
Mm.
know. So I'm constantly talking about love. Humanity came at a time where I remember when the idea came. I was watching the news during COVID last year,
Mm.
and every day it was just like, more cases and people dying, and it's just miserable,
Mm.
and I just started singing "Bawoyiba nathi ngeli xesha elinje," as I'm watching the news, and it basically says, God be with us, in this time. I went off, took a shower, carried on with the day.
Just admit, you can admit to me now that the shower is the best songwriting space there is, right?
Trust me, and obviously the sound in the bathroom as well is just amazing.
You've got natural reverb. Your
Exactly,
head's in the right place. If only you should set up a little recording studio in the shower for the
right
next album.
there, you know. And then the strange part is later on in the day, I started singing the same chorus again. And that's when I realized that, I need to record this on my phone and not forget it, you know? Um, so I don't know, it's just every thing that I've gone through recently that I try to put out there. Um, and I know that I'm obviously not the only person going through breakup, if I'm singing about breakup, whether it's being madly in love. There's so many people that relate to all these songs.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and that's basically how the album came about, you know.
And the photo, what's the story of the photo? I mean, that's such an evocative photo,
So the
the front
picture is
cover.
it's an old picture, one of the pictures that I've had for a long time. And recently when I was doing, so there's a song that I did with Somizi,
Yeah.
who happens to be a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine.
We'll talk
And
about that in a second.
he's just lost his mom as well a couple of months ago last year.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
Um,
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah. And so he did this painting, like a huge painting of his mom. And he showed me this painting. I called the artist. I said, listen, I need a painting like that, you know. So he made me this massive, so I gave him this picture of me and my mom as a baby, you know. Gave him this picture and he made me this huge painting that's on my wall actually at home right now.
Is that the
So
painting?
that's the painting.
So is it huge? You've got a huge version of that.
Yes, we took a picture of the
Beautiful.
painting, so it's just amazing how everything just falls into place,
Who's the
you know.
artist? He deserves a mention if you can remember his name.
His name is Herth Satwayo. He's
Uh-huh.
incredible, guys. Like, I wish I was at home right now to show you the painting, but it is also in my Instagram, and obviously
Yeah.
on the cover of my album.
It's amazing. Your story is quite exceptional. I don't care, you and Somizi's relationship is your friendship is everywhere. And I don't care. Like I'm not someone who cares about the drama of all that shit. You get
Right,
like Twitter loves it. Um, but I think what a cool thing to find someone that you get on with so
right,
amazingly. What is the magic connection there? I have my own sort of Somizi in my life that I
right,
decided I don't do shit without this dude in my life
right.
because of the trust that I have from. What's the magic there?
I've known
Sorry.
Somizi now for 16 years. I met him even before I got into to the music industry. You know, I don't know. There's just he's so real. You know, he's real. He's supportive. You know, I think when we started off, we were talking about people in the industry that just never want to help. You know, and I feel he was just one of those genuine people who were like, if you have a dream, I don't care how big it is, okay, work towards it. Let nothing and nobody stop you. You know, if you can dream it, it is possible. You know, and he sort of always drilled that in my head. You know, and through things that he would do and his success, you know, it for me it was motivation to go, this is possible. You know, this guy is living proof that all of this is possible. You know, and just man, I trust him with my life. I trust him with my life. People out there are saying we're dating.
Yeah. That's something I'm not. I'm not asking that. I don't care about that part of the question. But
The
what
thing
I
is,
love is the connection is important.
right, right.
Whatever it is, whether you are dating, whether you're not, whether you're best friend, it doesn't matter. But that
But we're
connection is
not
amazing.
dating.
We're all looking for that.
But we're not dating though, you know,
Whatever.
and and people out there, you know, we spoke about this earlier on. People,
You will never convince anyone of anything you're trying to convince them of, and that's why I'm interested in talking about what draws you together. The rest of it is bullshit and doesn't
right?
matter.
No, it's true. It's true. Eh? No, I think we've got mutual respect for each other. We trust each other a lot. You know, he's helped me through so much shit. You know, I've been there at his lowest as well. You know,
Well,
and
you
friendships
know,
like that.
that's religious. To be someone when they're at their most vulnerable is rare.
Exactly. You know, people, once things are going not well for you, they run and they move on to the next best thing. You know,
Especially in your line of business.
exactly, exactly. And also, you just never know who's real and who's not, because I feel like everyone is so fake. You know, we tend to be so fake and pretend with each other in this industry. But when we come across each other, it's like, hey, how you doing? And then the minute you turn the corner, it's like, stuff that guy.
Yeah,
You,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So with us, man, it's just realness all the way, and it's been
So
16
cool.
years now, and we're going strong.
So cool. All right, back to full circle. And I'm again like I'm a voyeur. I'm a fan, obviously. So those photos of you guys on a private jet, drinking champagne, flying to do business. Surely, even though you are a megastar, I mean, you are the cream of the crop. Surely, even you, for that special, and you recognize, like, this is not, you know, when you talk about where you come from, about your
Right.
granny being strict to you, moving to Craig Hall, that's got to be, that's not just like, this is my everyday. That's got to be something where you know the importance of what you're creating in that content. You are realizing the dream that your mother had for you by posting photos like that.
Definitely, man. You know, as you say, I always look back. You know, I'll never forget where I come from. The reason I push so much is because of where I come from and my background. And for me, you know, I think that is the goal. You know, I believe in
The goal is to
in
own that private jet.
Exactly. That's the goal.
And
That's
you're
the
not
goal.
that far, surely. Yeah.
I was even telling my family. I said to my family, I
Yeah.
said, guys, because I've got quite a big family. I said, listen, we need to come together, okay? Save some money, and we need to get our own private jet. Like we
Oh, you
need
the
to do
man.
this, you know.
If I could high five you right now, I'd be high fiving you in the face.
This is my uncle. This is my uncle. So you say hi, uncle.
How's
Hello,
that?
uncle. Wait, come
Hey,
into the
Craig.
picture, uncle.
Come
I'm
lower.
John. I'm John,
John,
sir. Lovely to meet you.
lovely meeting you, John.
Tell me, tell me about Vusi when he was small.
He's a naughty boy.
Thank you. I knew it.
Still is.
See, don't start. Don't start.
Still is.
Vusi, get out the picture. You're in the way. I want to
Stop.
talk to him.
Stop. So yeah, man. You know that is the goal. The goal is to make life easier. You know, hopefully for myself, for my kids and their kids. You know, especially us as Black people. You know, we we know nothing about generational wealth. You know, it's something new to us. You know, and it's something that I certainly. It was started by my mom, and it's something that I wanna sort of move on to my kids. You know, and their kids. So
Let me ask you a question related to that. And you don't have, again, you just tell me to piss off. How,
and
and
I
this is
will.
important. This is important to me, this question, because I mean, despite the whiteness you see here, what is very important to me is that Africa has ownership over what we do here. And that's what leads me to this question. And that is, how do you manage your money? What is your relationship with money and savings and education with finances? Because to me, this is the key to actually creating what you're talking about.
So so as I told you before, I blew my inheritance.
Yeah.
Like I blew my inheritance.
You invested
I,
in the crack cocaine industry and it was a bad investment.
very bad, very bad. Um, like I blew it. You know, my family tried to help me out of that situation by sort of forcing me to save there, to save there. But in the end, it didn't work because I just, you know, closed all those investments, took out the money, blew it. And for me, that was a great lesson because when I got a second chance, you know, I said to myself, there is no way I am gonna bugger this up. You know, there is no way I'm gonna mess this up. Um, you know, quickly got myself a house. You know, started saving. I really believe in saving now, and I guess that also comes from the fact that I blew so much money. Like I'm even afraid to tell you how much. You know,
But you think about it and you feel guilty
all the
about it.
time, all
That's
the
the
time.
important part, that you've had the experience.
So there was a lesson there. There was a lesson learned there. You know, um, yo, you're taking me. So, for example, when it comes to COVID, I mean, we haven't been working since what, March last year.
Hmm.
But because of saving, I was able to pay my bond, to pay my car, you know, just to have a life. Really.
And I'm talking to a lot of great artists, even legacy artists, even legends who have not managed to get through this period.
It's man, it's
Yeah.
you know, and again, that's why it is very important when the money is coming in. Save, 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 save. I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough.
You don't have to.
It's a thing, man. Like people don't know how to save. You know,
They
I feel like we as artists, when shit is happening proper, like the money comes in so much that you think it's not gonna stop, right? And you forget that there's gonna be. I mean, we seasonal earners, like you know,
Yeah, not even seasonal
there's
is
gonna come a
saying it
season,
positively.
you know, there's gonna come a
Yeah.
season where bugger all is happening, and you need to be ready for that, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, and people need to learn this, and I feel like out there, there's no one that teaches people this.
Vusi, I've loved chatting to you, and I think your album Ngumama is quite exceptional.
Thank you so
So
much.
good luck and enjoy. I'm sorry that I had to take you away from your aunt's party, but
That's okay.
I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed meeting your uncle. What was your uncle's name?
His name is Simpiwe.
Simpiwe.
Yes, Simpiwe is my mom's younger brother. We quite a close family, man. And I think also that's another very important thing. You know, I think not just for artists, but I think for everyone, it's important to have a good support structure, and my family has provided that for me, and I'm ever grateful to them for that.
And I think your mother would be extremely proud of this album Ngumama. It's a fantastic tribute, and so to us mummy's boys, cheers to you.
Thank you so much, man, and I hope to meet you soon. I hope to meet you soon in person.
Go away.
Thank you so much, man, and I'm gonna have more of this.
Have as many as you like.